Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Leaning In with Ann. This is a live walk and talk that I do Monday through Thursday. Some days I don't walk, like today. It is when I woke up this morning and I checked the weather. It said it was 24 degrees. It felt like 20. I said, this ain't happening. This girl's not walking in that. And that made me realize what a hard no feels like to me. And so we're going to talk about boundaries today. What are your hard no's? How to set them, how to keep them. Because it's one thing to say things or your girlfriends go, you need to do this, you need to say that, and then keeping them, that's a whole nother thing, right? So, welcome. I'm Ann Ferguson, and I am an author. I am a public speaker. I am a mentor. I am a teacher. I am a friend. I am a listening ear. I am a wise woman. That one's more difficult to say because that feels like bragging. So when you say you're I am, like what are you? I am wise. I know that I am wise. And so to say it, I'm just going to say it. And I am a very, very fast processor. So if I go too fast for you, please go back and watch the videos because I forget how fast my brain processes. All right, we're going to talk about boundaries. This is going to be really good. The first thing about boundaries is we've got to check in about how we feel about them. So when you, I believe, I feel, okay? When you set boundaries, I believe what? When I set boundaries, I believe what? Because that belief right there is whether or not you're going to keep them. It's really fascinating how much belief plays into this. So I talked about this idea of when you, I believe. So when you, ready? I told this to myself. When you eat a lot of sugar, I believe I don't have any control. I believe that being sick is kind of normal. And I feel abandoned. I feel unsupported. I feel, abandoned and unsupported. Do you know I didn't have any sugar yesterday at all? It was like fascinating that that worked. When you have sugar, I feel like we're out of control. And I feel abandoned and not seen. Okay, let's flip it around. When you grab the healthy stuff, I believe that we're going to feel great and I feel healthy, strong, and in control. It's so fascinating that this thing works. Okay, those are boundaries. So when I say the word boundary, what do you believe? Do you believe you can't hold them? Do you believe that they're not possible? Do you believe that people step over them? What is the belief about boundaries? I'm going to just share. I had a moment this morning. It was 24 degrees. And I walk every morning. Not this morning. That was a hard no. And I realized, I have a boundary around how cold it is and what I'm going to endure. This is really important. If your narrative is, when I set boundaries, I believe I am weak, I feel aggressive, I feel whatever you feel. Because setting a boundary can feel really scary. What if somebody doesn't honor the boundary that you've set? Like, how do you even navigate that? What do you do? You have to go into this place of love right here. You have to take everybody else out of the picture. Out of the picture. Not there. Envision, what would you love? Well, I would not love being outside in the cold. I would love to be comfortable so that I can talk to you. So, hard boundary supports me. Doesn't hurt any of you. I could say, but that means I'm weak because I'm not enduring or keeping my commitments, right? I've committed I'm going to walk and I'm not keeping my commitments, and therefore this hard no boundary is kind of a weakness, I'm giving up. If you believe that something that makes you comfortable is you giving up, then we may have a boundary issue, because it's okay to be comfortable. And it's okay when I am outside and my car breaks down and I've got to get somewhere so that I can be safe or my kids can be safe, I will then endure the cold and walk to wherever I need to get things done. I am not weak. I do not have to push myself into a place that's uncomfortable for no reason. I've got grit when I need it. I can also be comfortable. Let's go in relationships for a minute. I have some hard no's. I don't know if you have these hard no's. If you don't, it's probably a good idea. I have a hard no in a conversation. I hard no it, and I say this is not productive. I'm not talking to you when cussing at me starts. Absolutely not. Because what that does when somebody cusses at me, it triggers PTSD from way back when. My brain goes offline. I am no longer able to think or be clear and hear you, but let alone hear me. So cussing at me is not productive. Hard no, I'm out. If you would love to talk to me in a respectful way, even if we're emotionally charged, I'm all in. I will sit here, I will manage my own stuff. Okay? So there is an emotional space where you transition from being logical to illogical. So we all do it, by the way. It's not just crazy people. Okay. I have these levels that I teach. I'm going to go over them really quickly. Level 1 or level 0, you are awesome. You want to be awesome. You never want to be unawesome. You're going to let everybody else be awesome because you're comfortable in your own skin. That's a 0. A level 1 is something's off. I don't know what it is. I just don't feel awesome, but it's like nobody said anything. There's no bad situation. I'm off. Okay. Level 2 is when you know that there is an emotion and you go, nope, can't do that right now. I can't feel that. So if you're afraid, nope. If you're stressed, nope, got to get it done. Now, I am not saying anything about this. It's just a level. You have the ability to pop that back down. Okay. A level 3, that is when you can name the emotion. I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed. I'm feeling dread. I'm afraid, I'm anxious, but it hasn't, you can still think. You can still think. Then there's this transition between thinking and not thinking. That is the level 4. A level 4 is when the intensity of the emotion gets to be so much that you're discharging. You're blaming other people, you're blaming yourself. You are accusing, you are disengaging. That is different than boundary setting. There is a quietness while you sit and endure the crap. That is a level 4. When you feel yourself withdraw and get quiet, that's a level 4. That means a boundary right there needs to be set up. Because there is nothing you can do to think your way through anything and come to any logical thing. And especially if somebody is feeling very powerful in the way that they're talking to you and they're getting their point across and all the stuff, the damage that it's actually doing to you, even though you're silent, is too much. It's not good for you. So if anyone starts in that, you got to pull back. Now, here's the thing about the boundary. They aren't the ones to govern that. And different people can be different ways. If you're triggered into a level 4, that's yours to say, and I'm not doing well, I've got to bounce out of this one. And we can talk later. Because sometimes somebody's not really yelling and screaming at you. Maybe they're just like kind of covertly telling you all of the reasons why you're wrong, and you are very, very passive, and they are gaslighting, manipulative, and they're calm, and they're kind, but they're not. If you feel yourself flooding to the point that you can't think, hard no. We have that rule in our family. I can say I'm at a level 4 and I've got to get some time. My husband could say I'm flooding to a 4. I don't push him anymore. That's a hard no for us. Okay? Let's talk other hard no's. When I supported women who had husbands who were addicted to pornography, we had to set some hard no's. So one of the things that I learned is that the more loving we are, the more permission some men think they have to just do things because their wife is just going to love them. And we do. However, it's really, really important to say, I am worth being treated appropriately. And for me, I have a hard no, a hard no with pornography. I was cheated on. My husband had an affair. So anything that is likened to that, that is a hard no for me. And I have spoken that hard no. I am not going to put myself in a position where I am in competition with another woman ever, even if it's on print. So what that looks like for a lot of women, is if you step out and are looking at other women, then that means we have gone to married status to dating at best status. And what that means is I do not sleep with somebody I am dating. I don't. So you can't be in my bed until you get a hold of this. And there's been times where I've seen women who've said, and I am leaving until you figure out whether or not I am the one you want to be with or not. I will tell you, ladies, that shocks these men. They need boundaries, and they need you to hold them tight. You are the one who governs how people treat you. It's okay if they get really mad, because sometimes people, when you have a boundary, they will get really, really, really angry, and they'll kick and they'll scream and they'll want to discharge all over you. And it's not appropriate for people to discharge all over you. They need to manage their own and get themselves put back together. So you can step out and say, no, I am not doing this. Now, it took me a long time to get there. One of the things that I did to start learning my boundaries is to check in and receive from me what I would love. So there's something called a you are enough moment. Where is your you are enough moment? What that means is every day you check in and you go, hey, what would you love today? What would you love right now? If I need a drink, I'll go get a drink. Do you need to go outside and get some sun? I will. Do you need to lay down? I will. Do you need to eat? I will. I will ask myself, what do you need right now? What do you need? And I receive it from myself. Now, why that matters is because when someone else isn't treating you kindly, you are so used to treating yourself kindly that it feels like, whoa, no, that's not happening. I am not doing that. But the only way for you to set boundaries that are really soul enhancing that you can keep is for you to find out how to take care of you and love you. Not in a way that's selfish and you're taking everything away from other people. It is okay for you to say, this is not kind to me. And I'm not avoiding this conversation. It's just not kind to me, so we can talk about this later. Right? I will tell you, ladies, when you show up in a way that honors you, you're not looking for somebody else to validate the fact that you're okay. Now, we're going to go to our gentlemen because we need to talk about men and their boundaries. Ladies, it is not okay to berate your man. It is not okay to be bitchy, ever. So, what I want you to know about this, ladies, listen up. A man's mode of operandi, if you will, that motivates him is not love. It is respect. Now, we've interpreted that as something it's not. It's like, well, we have to bow at their feet to be respectful. No. That's not it. I want you to consider something really quickly. Ladies, show of hands, how many of you have ever done the, I really, really love my husband. He's kind of a little boy, kind of drives me crazy, does that little boy thing, but I just really love him. Anybody? Because I've said it. I know I have. I've had that attitude. Okay? Ladies, what if you were around a bunch of men and you heard them say, one or two, an agreement, I really respect my wife. Like I respect how she takes care of the kids, the house, the things that she does. I don't love her, but I just really respect her. Ouch. Does that, like if you actually heard a man say he doesn't love his wife, but he respects her, like what the crap jerk is that, right? Ouch. Ladies, I want you to hear this. That is exactly what our men feel like when we roll our eyes at them. When we be their mothers and say, are you kidding me? Why in the world would you even think that? When we say, okay, look, what did you learn in driver's ed? Because that is not what you should have been doing. Okay? The backseat driving, oh my gosh. Anytime you are being powerful, if you will, or superior, and you say that to your husbands, it's not okay. Men have the right, when you are being belittling and you are treating them like a child, to say, I'm not going to be treated like this. Let's talk when we're okay. And they can bounce out of that. Us women don't know how disrespectful we are to men. It doesn't mean that we have to do everything that they say. That is not respect. But just like I will never allow myself to be cussed at, not appropriate, I will also check myself and ask my husband to check me if I am being really disrespectful in that I am superior, like, why don't you even know this? Let me tell you where this comes from. We have got a whole culture who have demasculinized men. A whole culture. We have TV shows where the woman is smart and witty, and we have a dumb oaf of a husband. But you'll see it all over TV. And ladies, it is not okay for us to really connect with who we are and rise in our power. Rise in your queen and squash that king down. Absolutely not appropriate. Check yourself. If you are treating your man like that, he has a right to have a boundary and say, absolutely not. We can talk when there's respect. And that's really it, right? The same thing. If he's cussing at me, we can talk when there's love. This is not loving behavior, and I'm not doing this. There is a book called Love and Respect, and it's by Dr. Eggerts, I think. I can't remember his first name right now. Anyway, let me tell you about this book. A friend of mine gave it to me right after I married Tom, and he gave it to me in a CD set. I had never, ever, ever heard this understanding of respect. I finally had, oh, that's how I need to treat a man, that inspires him to love me back. Why? Because when I am loving or feel loved, I give respect. And when my man feels respected, he acts out in love. Guess what happens? If I am disrespectful because baby man-child just walked in the door and put mud all over my floors, if I disrespect him, guess what his reaction is? To be unloving. And then guess what my reaction is? To be disrespectful, because, you should know better. And then he comes back with unloving, and it's called the crazy cycle. That's what that's called, the crazy cycle. What needs to happen is one of you needs to do what the other one doesn't deserve. Now, this is a Christian-based book. It is so good. It is profound. It was written a long time ago, so if you feel like there's any sexism, check it, go in, say, is this really, is this not? His explanation of what happens in conflict for a man physiologically and emotionally, and what happens in conflict for a woman physiologically and emotionally, changed everything in the way that I approach the way I solve things with my husband. Whether or not he is actually on board and solving things or not, I'm responsible for my respect. I have personal boundaries, and that is, I will, if I'm really, really geared up and I'm really in that disrespectful mode, that is not the time for me to speak. I've got to figure some things out and find out where the respect is and where the honor for me is. That's a hard no, to be disrespectful. You have to learn how to do that though, ladies. There are times, women, that no matter how respectful you are, that man is abusive. We're going to talk about that really quickly, and then I'm going to jump out. If someone has a diagnosis, maybe they're bipolar or high anxiety, something like that, right? If they are feeling that and they are not with somebody who can help them, like any kind of classes or a psychologist, they are not taking medication and they are lashing out on you, that is called abuse. If they have the ability, or they're listening to psychologists and their classes and they're working on it, and they're taking medication, and they have an episode and they lash out, that's called, we got to work through this. I see too many women saying, yeah, but my husband has this and my husband has that. And so his behavior I can excuse away because he doesn't know what he's doing. Ladies, forgive him for he knows not what he does is okay for your heart. It is not okay for your spirit to be in a place where that is continually happening. Set a hard freaking no. No. We will not be disrespectful when we talk. No name calling, no accusing, no blaming, no cussing. If that happens, I can say, this is not how we're going to solve this. I love you, and I'm out. Another thing that has been said before, which I really love, is this is not respectful for you to act this way. You are really disrespecting me right now, and I want to hold you in the highest esteem of manhood, and so I am out right now. Ladies, the same thing for you. You do not have a right to belittle your man. Hard no. Men, step up on that. Not nasty. You just say, this is really disrespectful to me, and I don't like it. And so I'm out until we can find that. Now, your woman's going to be very confused because respect is not taught. We are not taught what it means to be respectful to our men. We are taught that they should be loving to us. We are taught that we're supposed to love them. They don't pick up love, ladies, the way that we think they do. They pick up respect. If you want to check on this, we're going to leave you with this. It's very, very, very good for you to hear what your man feels and needs his respect. And he can talk to you and say yes. And it's really good for our men to hear what love feels like to us. And you can talk about it and say yes. Now, this is not for when we're really, really, really in a lot of trauma in that marriage. That is not appropriate. It's not the time. If you are in a lot of trauma in your marriage, I will tell you exactly what will help. You come to an Igniting Your Belief class. Let me teach you emotional regulation. Let me teach you how to vision the best possible outcomes. And then let your husband come in and let me teach him how to emotionally regulate, how to connect with what feels good to him and understand that feelings are not scary. Open up that door, separate and alone. Not just me, I've got mentors that are super great. They can do that and ignite the belief that your relationship can be back to where it was because the embers of that relationship have gone cold. We just had this situation where a man took the class, his wife is taking now, and they are starting to have conversations like they have never had before. It's so great. So, if it's in trauma, if it's really not great, if you're not talking, that's where you've got to be. All right? Hard boundaries. Find out what you love. Take care of yourself. And you're going to say, do this every day for a week. What do I need right now? And go do it. Anything. It might even just be go pee. Who knows? Do that, and you'll be able to set your boundaries, and you'll be able to keep them. Okay? I love you. I want to work with you. I want to help you. I want to hear you. I want to know you. Okay? That's it, my friends. Have a super, super great day today. Bye-bye.